Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kimberly and I'm passionate about teaching you yoga and everything mindfulness. For today's episode, I will be talking about a book that I'm currently reading. It's by Jennie Lee and the title of the book is Through Yoga. So, the book is all about practicing with the Yoga Sutras for happiness and spiritual fulfillment. Before we begin, I hope you subscribe to my channel, Live Love Yoga with Kimberly, and when you're ready, let's begin. Yoga books makes me realize a lot of things about how I do things and how I think. And it's a good way to practice yoga off the mat. So for today's book, I will be talking about chapter 1 of True Yoga. And chapter 1 is about peacefulness and the word Ahimsa. So Ahimsa means non-harming. And in this chapter of the book, it talks about happiness begins within. So, moving beyond the traditional translation of non-harming, we see that ahimsa means to eradicate anything that undermines peace and to actively start helping. Staying detached is not enough. In order to create harmony where it is not, we must consciously look for ways to practice compassion, respect, and thoughtfulness each day. First in our thoughts and then in our actions. So to begin, we learn to relax in our own minds and bodies. Rather than curse the people or things that are frustrating us, if we intend to practice peace, we develop the ability to release stress and hold on to behaviors and thoughts that bring us back to serenity again and again. Thought is our greatest ally and creates according to its own nature in both inner and outer results. Therefore, every time we choose thoughts of gratitude, positivity, and peace, we create a ripple of peacefulness on the planet that affects innumerable others. As we manage our stress, frustration, and anger, we offer an example to those around us to do the same. First reminder from this chapter is about thought watching. To practice the yamas and niyamas effectively, so these are both parts of the 8 limbs of yoga, we must train ourselves to watch our thoughts. Mindfulness is the ability to be aware of what you're thinking, feeling, and sensing without being pulled around recklessly by it. Watching thoughts is key to practicing ahimsa or non-harmfulness because all day, every day, if we are not careful and aware, negative thoughts will slip in and chip away at our peace. Criticism, anger, jealousy, fear, doubt, thoughts of lack, suspicion, and anxiety all negate peace and create inharmony within us. These thoughts act like roadblocks between us and the life of happiness we wish to have. Training the mind to eliminate negativity and concentrate fully on joy and gratitude is essential. At the end of every chapter, affirmations are included to help with the practice of establishing new patterns of thought that will reinforce the qualities we are cultivating. All change begins in the realm of thought. So, this is a great reminder because even for myself, every time that I don't practice yoga or like I let go of my yoga practice, I seem to forget about. So every time I let go of my yoga practice, I seem to forget the yoga sayings I hear or realize when I practice yoga. And it's a constant reminder of what I need to do. So, reading this reminder about thought watching puts me back, especially in. So, thought watching is a great reminder, just like what we teach in meditation, that thoughts are just thoughts and you should allow them to come and go. Thoughts are not the reality, and it's the same for me because when I'm not in my yoga practice, I'm not in peace. I'm not always in peace. For example, at work, we encounter a lot of disagreements, and it's good to go back to your thoughts and be mindful of it, because if we're not mindful of our thoughts, we just tend to be angry and lash out in to other people where it's not even their fault, and it's also not your fault. So thought watching is a good reminder. The next reminder of this chapter is the anger trap. So for now, let us start by assessing our outer lives. How often do we react to challenging people or situations in anger? The emotion of anger is meant to spark needed action when controlled, just like a fire is meant to transform wood into productive heat. But unchecked anger, like a fire, will burn out of control in a way that is detrimental to our health, physically, mentally, and spiritually. It is the root of many illnesses as well as premature aging. Uncontrolled anger prevents understanding and our ability to reason clearly. So consider the expression about giving someone a piece of our mind. What is actually happening when we tell someone off is that we give away a piece of our inner peace. Let us say that an aggressive driver cuts us off in traffic on the way to work. Whether we roll down the window and yell, or refrain but curse him silently, we have literally given him the piece of our mind. Our thought has become poisoned by anger. We are not peaceful, we are not happy, and we are not practicing Ahimsa. So to practice Ahimsa, we stay serene even when conflict arises. We seek a solution based on calm understanding. With the driver who cut us off, we could choose a thought of compassion such as, he must be really stressed to be driving that way. I hope his day gets better. In doing this, we feel less tension and he receives our peaceful energy waves. Moving away from the problem and toward the solution is key. Love and calmness are stronger than anger, and we must learn to be self-possessed and even-minded under all circumstances in order to move in the direction of happiness. Peacefulness enables us to make wise decisions rather than reactive or ignorant ones. So just think about the situations you've been in. I hear this a lot, and it's true that when we're angry, we tend to race and just shout or say the things we want to say without clearly thinking about it. So it just gives wrong solutions and might make your life more messier. And even if someone is irking us, I believe it's a good thing to just sit back and or have a step back and be mindful of why the other person could be angry. It just like what the book suggested, they might just be having a stressful day. And yes, we could have stressful days ourselves. And when we are stressed, it goes back to the first point of this book, thought watching. So when we're stressed, when we feel stressed, maybe it's good to internalize and think about why we're stressed. And when we know that we're stressed, then we could be more mindful that, we know that we're stressed, and the less that we become angry at ourselves and to anyone around us. So it's kind of interlinked, and it's not good to be angry all the time as you affect everyone around you unnecessarily. And it's really a cause for disease, because when we're angry, we tend to be sad rather than happy, and that leads to a lot of stress, fatigue, and next to it would be, being sick or whatever, because it really affects our different parts of our bodies. And just like yoga off the mat, it translates to yoga on the mat. Like when we do poses in a yoga class, it tends to help heal a certain body part. So yeah, let's be mindful of our stress within ourselves and not spread it around in order to practice non-violence or ahimsa. So by the way, my two dogs are beside me here, and if you're hearing them, I'm sorry, but they're clingy and they like to be in the same room as me. So next reminder is respect and care for self and others. Self-respect and self-care are essential. We are not practicing ahimsa if we become imbalanced through overwork or lack of exercise. Practicing ahimsa is both an inner and outer journey, and we cannot offer what we have not embodied. If we feel stressed, unworthy, or afraid, then we will create these same feelings in our relationships. And as we strive to meet all situations and people with loving openness and a dynamic peacefulness, we begin experiencing less stress in our own lives. We let things roll more easily and feel less perturbed when things do not go our way. The more we recognize common needs within all people, the more empathy we feel. We address what lies beneath anger and reactivity, which is usually a deep need for love, understanding, and empathy. So I'm sorry my dogs are being noisy right now. So what I can say is, I agree that when people are angry and reactive, it means they just need love or understanding. So the more that we should empathize to other people and to also ourselves, right? Like when we don't feel well, it means that we need to take care of ourselves more. So eventually, as we eradicate all thoughts that are not peaceful from our minds, we are assured that discord will cease around us. So the sense of community will be there, and we'll be more happier if we just care for each other and firstly to ourselves. So on to the last tip from chapter 1 about ahimsa is foundational happiness. We can all express more love in our thoughts, words, and actions daily. Ahimsa is an active practice that lays the groundwork for all the limbs that follow. By creating an internal environment of peace, watching our thoughts, and choosing to hold on to only ones that foster it, and by offering reverence, kindness, and love to all beings, we move toward unity consciousness, the goal of Raja Yoga. If we wish to truly know ourselves and to be fundamentally happy, we must nurture this foundation of spiritual life. When we are at peace, we are attuned with our soul. As we awaken soul connection, we realize that we are all part of one divine essence, experiencing life through various human bodies and stories. If we can really feel this oneness, then anything another does is within us as well, and we have compassion for him. And anything we do to another, we realize we are doing to ourselves. So true. Every time we take a step in the direction of peace, we effect a positive change in our circle of family and friends, and this extends through them into the greater world. Never underestimate the power of one peaceful gesture or one peaceful thought. Small steps yield big results over time. If we want to experience peace, we must offer it actively to others. Develop mindfulness and program thought for success and happiness by actively choosing peace at every turn, internally and externally, no matter what happens. Utilize the affirmations at the end of this and every chapter to reinforce the qualities you are developing. So, daily practices. These are some practices that we can incorporate in our daily life so we can be more peaceful into our daily lives. Remember that it first begins within our own thoughts and then extends to your outer actions. In thought, word, and action, actively choose peacefulness today and notice how even small efforts yield big results over time. So, first is to watch your inner dialogue. Mindfulness is built one thought at a time. Replace negative, critical, or harmful thoughts with self-honoring, affirming, and loving ones. At breakfast, lunch, and dinner, send a peaceful thought to someone. So practice 3 of the following ways to actively employ Ahimsa today. These could be reacting kindly even if someone is rude to you. I know that's really hard, but sometimes we are forced to think about what a certain circumstances or scenario is teaching us even if we don't understand. Next is take time to make eye contact and smile at a stranger. I always feel good when I do that. Don't you? Express gratitude to someone. Make amends to someone you have treated unkindly. Be patient with someone moving slower than you. That's also very hard because whenever I walk outside in the business district and someone is being slow in front of me, I'm sure a lot of us can relate. But that's annoying. But I guess it's teaching us patience. Send someone who has hurt you a thought of forgiveness. That's also really hard. At least for me, especially if I know someone is purposely trying to say bad things about me and I really don't understand it because how could someone be so mean? But yeah, I guess I have to do this so we can practice Ahimsa and be more peaceful about our daily lives. Lend a listening ear to someone who is upset. Yield the right of way to an aggressive driver. Actually, when I drive and I give way to people, it makes me feel good. So I just do that at any point that I can, just give way. Because at the end of the day, it's me who I feel good. And yeah, it's just one of the things I practice, gratitude or care for others, even if they don't really know me. And lastly, forgive yourself for something. Some affirmations to leave with you as we end this chapter. In my thoughts, words, and actions, I practice peace today. As I become harmonious inside, perfect peace becomes my experience outside. I breathe in peace, I breathe out stress. I am peace, peace is in me. I choose to see the divine within all beings and so I feel harmony with all. So sorry again about my dogs playing and sneezing over there. But yes, so I hope you enjoyed a recap and some readings from chapter 1 of this book through yoga. If you have some reflections, please comment them below and let me know how it helped you with your understanding about yourselves. So before we end this episode, I hope you subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next chapter of this book through yoga. Thank you so much for listening.